So is an offer process different in this market?
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward together with the DekkerTeam.
We've been helping at the DekkerTeam families navigate that question and so many more. Hey, Candace?
Yes.
And the offer process is significantly different.
Yeah.
You kind of have to pull out all the stops. So in this episode, you're going to learn, and we're going to chat about and explore a fair bit of what some of those stops are that you want to pull out. Because if you don't, you're probably not going to get a house that you really want.
That's right. Or you won't get a house.
Worse yet, I guess. Say that one again.
You won't get a house if you don't pull out all the stops in this market, generally. It's really difficult. You could go through 5 houses before finally, 5 offers before yours gets accepted. Sometimes people do more than that. It can be a long process if you don't pull out all the stops.
And pulling out all the stops refers to having actually a team. And I'm not talking about a team of realtors, although that's a good space to start, is at working with a realtor that is not just a solo realtor.
Yes.
Is what many of our clients have told us. And the reason for that is when I was a solo realtor, and I was one 28 years ago, if I wasn't available, I wasn't available.
Yeah, you can't be two places at once.
I hadn't figured that out yet.
Yep.
And even now as a grandma, I'm pretty good at the 2 places at once.
Well, we still can't be in Canada and Orleans at the same time for different clients.
Can't be.
No.
Whereas when you're with a team, the amazing thing is you can. And that's not so much the team that I'm talking about. It's the supporting team of characters. And they are characters.
Yes.
That come alongside to support and help the supporting cast of characters. Because that often, even if you've seen the right house in a timely fashion, the realtors pull out all the stops, if you don't have the supporting cast, you're still not getting the house of your dreams.
Yeah.
So one is pre-inspection.
Yep. Pre-inspection's really key.
Say more about that. Because maybe you don't even know what a pre-inspection is. Because it used to be that a pre-inspection was the seller did an inspection before the property went on the market. Right. And that could happen.
That can happen. It definitely helps in multiple offer situations. If it's already there, then it levels the field for most buyers. But the other one we're talking about is having your inspector hired for you as the buyer in an hour window of a normal showing time. Now, during that hour, other showings could be happening, but it's your inspector just talking to you and with your realtor, doing an hour showing instead of a regular 2.5 or so.
Or 3 or 3.5 or 4.
We've all been to the 5-hour inspection. I was at one and I was like 8 months pregnant and I was like, oh my gosh, let's go home. But anyways, so these are an hour.
My longest was 8 hours.
Okay. These pre-inspections are just an hour long. They're quick, but they look at the big items.
Right. They're not looking at the little details.
No. They still do give you a good overview. They still give you a little bit of a report. It's half the price of a regular inspection typically, and it gives you information so that you can move forward in multiple offers without the condition of a building inspection because you already know what's ahead of you and you can bring in your price accordingly.
Right. And it can be scary. Like if you're listening to Candace and I talk about this like it's no big deal to put an offer in without
building inspection
condition.
Yeah.
I've done it. The first time I did it, I didn't know if I was going to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Right? Like it causes stress and anxiety and concern and like, really? Like this is $500,000 or $750,000 or $1 million. And now I'm going to buy it without really knowing what I'm buying.
Yeah. And
that can be scary.
It can be. And in this market, you almost have to do that without conditions for the most part. Not all the time, but we are seeing that more and more right now. The ones that are winning and purchasing the house often have 0 conditions.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they haven't done the pre-inspection prior to.
Right.
They haven't done the financing prior to. They're just having to move at a quicker speed.
And therefore, having the supporting cast of characters is the difference maker. So I know I just had a property I sold a day ago, and we had 10 people that wanted. I was helping the seller. So on the seller side, it's more of a party. Yeah. And yet, even then, the seller found it very stressful and very difficult. And the biggest thing we were looking for was not price.
No.
The biggest thing we were looking for was no conditions, because then there's no changing minds. There's no heartache. Like, we know that we can put the sold sign up, and there's something pretty exciting about putting up a yay or woohoo sold.
Yeah.
Yay sold or woohoo sold, because, you know, just the basic sold's not quite exciting enough. Mm-hmm. So they really want to be able to do that. Go home, leave the office, put up the sign. And we did end up getting really, really good money. And there was a 40% variation between the lowest offer and the highest offer. So as a buyer, if you don't have a good cast of supporting characters, including an appraiser, including a great mortgage specialist, including your realtor who already has an indication or an idea of what that market's going to do, you may lose out on the house that, even though you're paying way over asking, was still a really, really good deal. So how much over asking does not really necessarily have any impact on whether it was a great opportunity or a great deal or not.
No, because anyone can ask anything for a house.
Right. So I can get a house $100,000 off on a house and still overpay by $100,000, depending on how the property's priced.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Because we still, even in this market, watch houses that don't sell.
Yeah.
So, Candace, what else that we really want to be thinking about that we do differently in this kind of market?
Yeah. So I'm going to show you an example because it kind of encompasses all of it. So my buyer, one was in town, one was out of town. This fantastic opportunity came up in a low price point in the city where they needed to be for their kids' school. We've been looking for a while, and all that we were seeing were condos. And condos weren't going to cut it really for them. They would make it work, but
there's mobility issues.
There's mobility issues, yes. So then all of a sudden this bungalow came up in the school district in their price range, and we had to run out and go see it.
Run.
And
well, did you drive?
I drove.
Okay.
It was a long way.
They did too.
So, yeah. But he wasn't in town, and they weren't willing to miss the opportunity. So thank you for technology. We did a FaceTime, and we brought him through the house. And actually, it wasn't even me that went to that first showing. We talked about team, and I couldn't be at two places at once. So actually, Ken ran out for me and then called me on the way back and was like, you need to do an offer for them now. So we did an offer within an hour. And then, unfortunately, we were stuck in multiples again.
Even that lightning speed.
Yes. And because it was a house that needed work, because it was a house that was a little neglected, it was very dirty. And the agent was like embarrassed about it. And I said, dirty's great for my guys because they can afford it. and they can do sweat equity, like grease, wash the kitchen down. They just need somewhere to be. So we talked about the story. So there was a heart that they were going to take care of the house, and that meant a lot to the seller. And then also having the right people in place, a mortgage broker, pre-inspection, all of those things really played in, and we were able to get it. And they were only one, that was the first offer they had submitted. So they didn't have to go and do 5 offers on different properties. We won the first house they wanted. Yeah.
So really, we're excited to be your partners on this real estate journey because it is a difference maker. So sometimes you got to take hold of those fears and pass them aside and make a great decision through it all.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.